Tonight, breaking news, the images of the hostages coming in now. An American mother of three with ties to Philadelphia and New York among those released tonight. 16 more hostages released, among them that 49-year-old American mother. Where is her husband and the other Americans still being held captive? And Hamas tonight on the hostages they now say are dead. Matt Gutman with late reporting from Israel. The images from the West Bank tonight, two Palestinian boys, just 8 and 15, shot and killed during an Israeli counter-terror raid. Tom Soufi Burridge reporting. Amid this war, the concern here at home and in New York City tonight, what authorities are now saying about the Christmas tree lighting. Aaron Rodgers standing by. The deadly crash of a U.S. Air Force Osprey, 8 crew members on board, at least one body now recovered. Raddatz with new reporting tonight. After several feet of snow in parts of the Northeast, now the new cross-country storm on the move tonight. From the west right into the east by late week. Rob Marciano standing by to time this out. An alleged assassination plot targeting an American citizen in New York City. The claim that an official in India is behind it. Who was the intended target and why? Embattled Republican George Santos facing expulsion, the vote coming, and why the new Speaker of the House is not fully on board with expelling Santos. Rachel Scott right here tonight. The moving moment today, the private funeral for former First Lady Rosalynn Carter. Former President Jimmy Carter determined to be there. Tonight, news coming in, an FBI special agent carjacked. The suspect then making off with the car, body armor, and a radio. An American Airlines passenger on a flight to New York City arrested. What he's accused of doing to members of the crew. We have news on Aaron Rodgers tonight after tearing his Achilles during the opening minutes of the season. The big headline this evening. And we remember a well-known actress tonight. You'll remember her roles on Cheers and ER.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. We begin tonight with the 16 hostages released, an American woman, a mother of 3 among them. And with this war, the concern here at home tonight with large public gatherings, including the Christmas tree lighting here in New York City tonight. What they're now saying, our reporter standing by. But we do begin tonight with the new hostages freed and Hamas now claiming that 3 of the hostages are now dead. Tonight, the video coming in late today of the 16 hostages, including the American woman with ties to New York City and Philadelphia. A mother of 3, her husband still missing. The hostages released into the custody of the Red Cross and then brought to Israel. The American, her name is Liat Bainen, a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen. President Biden has already spoken to her parents tonight. The FBI believes 8 other Americans may still be held hostage. So many questions remain tonight, including the whereabouts of Hirsch Goldberg Poland, the 23-year-old, his parents from Chicago. Part of their son's arm blown off at the site of that festival. He was then taken away in the back of a pickup truck. We have stayed on his story for nearly 54 days, and tonight what his mother is now saying. And Israeli authorities are trying to confirm claims tonight from Hamas that 3 hostages have died, all from the same family, a mother, her 10-month-old baby boy, and her 4-year-old son. President Biden moments ago releasing a statement saying he's deeply gratified this American mother has been freed. But is this ceasefire over? Will there be another? And what about the other Americans? ABC's Matt Gutman leading us off in Israel again tonight.
Tonight, these new images coming in, 16 hostages freed by Hamas, among them 49-year-old American Liat Bainen. That as negotiations to extend the 6-day ceasefire grind on. Liat, a mother of 3 with ties to Philadelphia and New York, worked as a teacher and tour guide and was kidnapped from kibbutz Nir Oz along with her husband, Aviv. And tonight, right after Liat crossed into safety, we spoke with her sister, Tal.
What was it like?
Well, they showed the people on the TV coming in, and I recognized her in the van. And then it still took some time until we got that final okay that she really was amongst the people that were returned. Then I could finally breathe, take a deep breath.
But Liat's husband, Aviv, who was wounded trying to defend his kibbutz, still missing tonight. Liat, only the 2nd American freed during this ceasefire after 4-year-old Abigail Idan was released over the weekend. But tonight, at least 8 Americans remain in captivity. Where they are, who is holding them, and if they're all alive, still not known, according to U.S. officials. Hirsch Goldberg is one of them. The 23-year-old taken hostage during that festival massacre on October 7th. This is one of the last known images of Hirsch taking shelter in a bunker, his arm badly wounded before he was taken. Hirsch's mother, Rachel, telling David,
there were two messages in a row at 8:11. The first one said, "I love you," and the second one said, "I'm sorry." So I immediately knew something terrible had happened.
And those two words, "I'm sorry."
And I keep saying, it's okay.
54 days after he disappeared, we checked in with Hirsch's parents, Rachel taping that number 54 on her shirt.
Our heart, our soul is so bruised. And you know when you have a bruise, the thing that hurts most is when you hit that bruise again. So every morning having to tear off a new piece of tape and make the number increase, it just is like increasing that wound that's in my heart.
Are U.S. officials telling you anything?
U.S. officials from day one have been super supportive, super engaged, but we are not getting any concrete information, certainly not at a personal level, about Hirsch, our son, from the U.S.
And tonight, Hamas announcing 3 more of the hostages have died, all members of the same family. 10-month-old Kfir, his 4-year-old brother Ariel, and their mother Shiri Bibas, all killed at some point during Israel's weeks of bombardment. Israel says it's assessing those claims. And late today, while boarding Air Force One in Colorado, President Biden, who's been personally involved in negotiations to free more Americans, speaking to Liat Beinin's parents.
We've got some very good news to report. Liat Beinin is safe in Egypt. She's crossed the border. I talked with her mother and father. They're very appreciative, and things are moving well. She'll soon be home with her 3 children.
So let's bring in Matt Gutman live in Tel Aviv tonight. Matt, this ceasefire now set to end just a short time from now. I know negotiators, including members of the Biden administration, still working to extend this.
And David, Secretary of State Blinken just touched down here in Tel Aviv. CIA Director Burns is still in Qatar working to extend that 6-day ceasefire by up to another 4 days. Those negotiations intense. Now, the ceasefire officially ends at midnight Eastern time, and Israel has vowed that when the ceasefire ends, it will resume the war. David.
Matt Gutman leading us off here again tonight. Matt, thank you. And this evening, in exchange for the new hostages released, Israel releasing 30 more Palestinians. And now another flashpoint tonight. There are reports coming in that 2 Palestinian boys, just 8 and 15, were shot and killed in an Israeli counter-terror raid. ABC's Tom Soufi Burridge with the difficult images. He's in the West Bank tonight.
Tonight, with tensions rising in the West Bank, disturbing video showing the moment 2 Palestinian boys are shot dead by the Israeli military. The IDF launching what they called a counter-terror raid in the town of Jenin that Israel sees as a hotbed of terrorism. The IDF conducting operations there long before this war began. 8-year-old Adam Sama Al-Ghul and 15-year-old Basil Suleiman Abu Al-Wafa, both killed. Israel saying it also killed 2 high-ranking terrorists in the same raid, and that soldiers only opened fire on people who threw explosives at them. In the few seconds of video we have before the shooting, the boys are not seen throwing anything in that video. The older boy is seen holding a small object in his hand. Their families mourning, while others hold out hope to see their loved ones again. Israel releasing 30 more Palestinian women and children held in jails. 180 Palestinians now freed in the past 5 days. We visited the Hanetsha family, anxiously waiting around the television for news. Officials here in the West Bank announcing their daughter, 21-year-old Danya, will come home. She was not charged with a serious crime, but detained by Israel for 10 days for allegedly supporting terror. Danya's father, Saka, telling me, I'm looking forward to hugging her again.
And David, some of those Palestinian prisoners expected here in Ramallah, possibly, we're told, within the next hour, their relatives gathering here to welcome them home. David?
Tom Soufi Burridge there in Ramallah for us. Tom, thank you. And of course, with this war, there remains concern here at home. In New York City tonight, a heavy police presence at the Christmas tree lighting. Let's bring in our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kotursky. And Aaron, what are authorities saying tonight?
After pro-Palestinian demonstrators briefly disrupted the annual Thanksgiving Day parade here in New York, police are vowing tonight, David, not to let that happen with the annual holiday tree lighting here in Rockefeller Center. The NYPD is out in force, keeping any demonstrations and any potential violence away from this holiday tradition. And the tens of thousands of people here to watch, you can see they're screening all the spectators before they get close. With the Israel-Hamas war creating what authorities have called a dynamic and heightened risk environment, there are concerns, and we've had a look at a new intelligence bulletin by ABC News, that these kinds of high-profile gatherings could be attractive targets. But, David, they've identified no specific plot. David.
And as you say, screening the spectators tonight. Aaron Kotursky. Aaron, thank you. We turn now to the deadly crash of a U.S. Air Force Osprey aircraft off the coast of Japan. 8 crew on board, the body of one of them recovered so far. Here's Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, Japanese Coast Guard boats and helicopters searching the crash site of a U.S. military special operations Osprey aircraft. The CV-22B Osprey was performing a routine training mission with 8 Air Force personnel on board when it went down in the waters off the southwestern coast of Japan after seeking an emergency landing. Wreckage apparently from the aircraft and an empty inflatable life raft spotted after the crash. Japanese authorities say one body has been recovered. The U.S. Air Force saying the cause of the crash is unknown, but it went down in clear weather and daylight hours. The Osprey, with a tilt rotor, can fly like an airplane but land vertically like a helicopter, a complicated aircraft with a troubled history.
It is a very, very great record of being able to deliver people exactly where you need them. But when things go wrong with this aircraft, serious things, it's difficult to control.
Just 3 months ago, 3 Marines were killed in an Osprey crash during an exercise in Australia. And last year, 9 Marines were killed, 5 during a training mission in California and 4 others in Norway during NATO exercises.
And, of course, the investigation into this crash now underway. Martha Raddatz with us here in New York tonight, because I know you're also following 2 other incidents, yet again in the Middle East, involving 2 U.S. ships.
In the Red Sea, the USS Carney, a destroyer, was approached by a drone. They shot that drone down. It came from Yemen. We've talked about these drones from Yemen. Again, these rockets, these missiles, they keep on coming. The USS Carney blew it out of the sky. They said it was headed right towards the ship there in the Red Sea. And also in the Persian Gulf, an aircraft carrier, the USS Eisenhower, a drone approached the aircraft carrier, came within 1,500 yards. The drone, they say, was from Iran. They did not shoot it down, but I imagine if it got any closer, they might have, David.
All part of the rising tensions across the region. Martha Raddatz. Martha, good to have you here in New York. We turn to the other news here tonight. In the coldest day of the season for the East Coast, and several feet of snow now after that storm in some places. Look at the pictures tonight in Mexico, New York, near Syracuse. Plows out clearing the roads, and Buffalo school children braving the snow, getting on the bus this morning. Tonight, this new cross-country storm already brewing from the west all the way to the east by late week. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano still out there in the snow for us. Rob, we appreciate it.
You got it, David. Well, the snow finally ended. That's good news. But over 30 inches falling in some parts of this town here in Redfield. The cold is going to ease, thankfully, not just here, but down into the deep south as well. At ahead of this next West Coast storm, which is moving very quickly. And by tomorrow afternoon, it will be in the plains. And we're looking at a severe weather threat for storms firing in Oklahoma and Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And the dynamics are setting up to southeast Texas could see some tornadoes. Houston, Lufkin, Beaumont, even into Lake Charles through the afternoon and evening. And this thing moves quickly across the Mississippi, up the Ohio, and over the Appalachians. And by Friday evening, we're looking for rain moving into the northeast for the evening rush. Notice that the snow is relegated to the northern parts of New England and upstate New York here in the Adirondacks, so a warmer storm coming in, thankfully. David?
Rob Marciano with us from Redfield, New York tonight, the Syracuse area again. Rob, thank you. On Capitol Hill, New York area Congressman George Santos now facing this expulsion vote now coming, vowing not to resign tonight, and why the new Speaker of the House is not fully on board with expelling him. Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, a growing number of Republicans say they've had enough, now preparing to expel George Santos from Congress. But the top Republican in the House, Speaker Mike Johnson, says he's not convinced.
I personally have real reservations about doing this. I'm concerned about a precedent that may be set for that.
Democrats insist Republicans are only hesitant because they can't afford to lose the disgraced congressman's vote.
Do you think for any minute, if Republicans had a 25-seat majority, they would care about George Santos's vote? They needed him to vote for Speaker McCarthy. They needed him to vote for Speaker Johnson. That is the only reason why he is still a member of Congress.
The Long Island Republican is already facing 23 federal charges, including credit card fraud and identity theft. He has pleaded not guilty, but it's a scathing report from the House Ethics Committee, accusing him of stealing money from his campaign to pay for rent, designer clothes, and even Botox that has prompted more Republicans to call for his expulsion.
The quicker we can rid him of this institution, the better off this country and New York will be.
Santos, defiant.
I'm not going to be bullied out of this job, out of the House, out of my seat. Now, if they want me out, vote me out.
That vote is expected to happen on Friday. House Speaker Mike Johnson has spoken to Congressman George Santos. He's urging him to consider all of his options, including resigning. If he is expelled in the House, he would be the sixth member of the House to be removed. But, David, he would be the first Republican.
Rachel Scott, also here in New York tonight. Great to have you as well. Thank you, Rachel. There was yet another developing story, and for late details coming in right now, we turn to Byron Pitts.
David, Henry Kissinger has died. Born in Germany, he became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 1943 at the age of 20. He would serve his adopted country for decades after that, leaving an immense footprint in U.S. foreign policy. In 1969, as political scientist at Harvard, Kissinger was plucked from his post by then-President Richard Nixon to become National Security Advisor and eventually Secretary of State. His foreign policy successes were many, and he was rewarded with both the Nobel Peace Prize and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Henry Kissinger died tonight at his home in Connecticut at the age of 100. David?
Byron, thanks. And the final goodbye to former First Lady Rosalynn Carter. Moving moments at the funeral today at the church she attended in Plains, Georgia. An intimate gathering of family, friends, and neighbors, great-grandchild Charles Jeffrey Carter among those reading scripture today. Her husband of 77 years, former President Jimmy Carter, again determined to be right there, smiling at visitors. After the service, her family walked behind the hearse, carrying her coffin to her home nearby, where Rosalynn Carter was buried by the pond where she and Jimmy Carter loved to fish. When we come back here on this busy news night, there is news this evening about an FBI special agent who's been carjacked, the suspect making off with the car, body armor, and a radio, and an American Airlines passenger on a flight to New York City arrested tonight, what he's accused of doing to members of the crew. Tonight, an FBI special agent has been carjacked at gunpoint in Washington, D.C. Authorities say the agent's car was stolen, along with the body armor and a radio inside. The car was found a short time later. The agent was not hurt. There's no word of an arrest tonight. This evening, word an American Airlines passenger has been arrested for allegedly assaulting crew members while boarding a flight from Miami to New York City. Authorities say he became violent when a flight attendant told him he couldn't retrieve something from his checked bag, and threats he made about prior flights. He's accused of hitting several crew members while being escorted off the plane. When we come back here tonight, we remember a well-known actress, her roles on Cheers and ER. There's also news tonight on Aaron Rodgers. To the index of other news tonight, and we learned today that actress Frances Sternhagen has died of natural causes. The Tony-winning actress, known for her work, of course, on Broadway, but also her many movie and TV roles, including Cheers, ER, and, of course, Sex and the City. She was 93 years old. There's news tonight on Aaron Rodgers. Less than 3 months now after that devastating injury, minutes into the first game, the Jets quarterback has been cleared to return to practice now. He tore his Achilles during the opening minutes of that first game of the season. 79 days later now, Aaron Rodgers seen working out today. He says he hopes to be on the field for the Christmas Eve game against Washington. Stay tuned. When we come back here tonight, what began as a letter written 56 years ago, a seventh grader, that letter, and the incredible meeting all these years later. In a moment. Finally tonight here, America Strong, the seventh grader and the letter she sent to Vietnam 56 years ago. This all begins with a seventh grader and a letter she wrote back in 1967. Chris Olsen was just 13 years old. She sent a letter and a care package to soldiers in Vietnam. One soldier, Colonel Ned Felder, was so moved, he wrote back to thank that seventh grader. The two strangers then corresponding for years, Chris saving all of her letters. The Christmas card the Colonel sent her, a doll, on the base of it, Colonel Felder, Captain Felder at the time, writing Vietnam 1967 and both of their names on the sides. Now, 56 years after that first letter, Chris, who is now 68, was determined to find Colonel Felder. And through his alma mater, South Carolina State University, she did. The two agreeing to meet for the first time at the school's Military Appreciation Day. Walking into that school, she had no idea Colonel Felder was right there, waiting for her.
Oh my God! Oh, wow!
Colonel Felder, in his uniform, remembering the power of those letters.
It was emotional. It made me feel good to be able to keep in touch with someone back home.
And right here tonight,
hi, David.
The 7th grader who wrote that first letter on the impact of all of those letters and the colonel all these years later.
I've realized through this experience that the kindness of strangers is incredibly powerful.
Bond they formed 56 years ago. One incredible meeting. I'm David Muir. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. From all of us here, good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.